Indigenous Rights Radio, because knowledge is power.
The 2025 UN Climate Change Conference, known as COP30, is concluding in Belém, Brazil, a city often referred to as the gateway to the Amazon rainforests, from November 10 to 21, 2025. This major global meeting has brought together government representatives from the 198 signatory countries, along with delegates from UN bodies, civil society, academia, and the private sector. Significantly, COP30 features a record participation of indigenous peoples, with over 3,000 registered delegates, alongside strong representations from women and youth. Cultural survival has engaged with indigenous leaders and their representatives to capture their priorities and demands at this critical conference.
My name is Hindou Oumarou Ibrahim. I am from Indigenous Mbororo Peoples, and I'm the chair and founder of the Indigenous Women and People Association of Chad, at the same time SDG advocate for the General Secretary. My participations at the UNFCCC as part of the Indigenous Peoples Caucus have been since so many years. The COP30 happening the first time in the Amazon land, that means the Indigenous Peoples land in Belém. The first week have been tremendous because the participations of the indigenous peoples from the Para region where the COP is happening have been very, very limited. And of course, the activity of the critical minerals, of the oil mining happening in their land. So they was not happy. There was marching, of course. And after that, we have the military who come around all the COPs surrounding the peoples and trying to check everything and saying that indigenous peoples do not have any access to this COP. It's ending by a negotiation between the COP presidency and the indigenous peoples, but it is really not the way of militarizations of the UN meeting. So the second week started with a negotiations of the text that was pending during the first week. The first of them is the critical minerals on the just transitions. Indigenous people's positions was how we can have our right-based approach, how we can limit the extractions of the minerals in our territories, and how we can protect the indigenous peoples in the voluntary isolations. So this text is still in the discussions with the ministry and in the consultations with the presidency. At the same time, we proposed a language on the finance where we wanted to have a direct access finance. The language is there also, it is in the bracket. In the adaptation for all the developing countries, asking for the tripling adaptation finance, but also asking for the indicators. So the indicators was not agreed completely. So we are also waiting for what is happening these last 2 days. And finally, we come up with, the presidency come up with a new text on the local communities and indigenous peoples platform that the contacted group. And normally there is no agenda item on that. The review have to wait until the next 2 years at the COP32. So we had the first discussions, and today we are going to go again for another contact group, and we will see what is happening. So my assessment before taking all the results, the presidency will come with their own documents that they are called Mishrau. And Mishrau is one of the places where they can put everything, and we can say also nothing. So what we are asking, if it is an indigenous COP, it should include indigenous people rights, indigenous people's voices there. If it is the COP of the peoples, we are the peoples, and we have to be part of all these discussions. So we are looking forward for the 2 remaining days of the negotiations, of the consultations, and see what will be the text that will come out. Always after the COP, so there is a decision that have been taken that need to be implemented. So in order to get it implemented and to prepare the next decisions, there is a meetings that we organize as the caucus. So we organize some Zoom meetings just to give the update about what is happening and what will be our plan. And we organize also to give who will be the next co-chairs of the Indigenous Peoples Caucus, depending from the last day of the plenary where they adopt the COP. And we can also discuss about our plan for the next intersessionals, and everyone can take the result at home and do the reporting in his or organization or in his or communities. Indigenous peoples are the solutions, and then we need to take all the decisions, implement them in our ground.
For more information on the rights of indigenous peoples, visit cs.org and follow Cultural Survival on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Threads, and Blue Sky.